Well, let's look at our focus statement for our writing for this next 3 weeks. We'll be doing another writing like you did your personal narrative. And so let's take a look at our focus statement, something we'll be writing about. And the focus statement is amazing creatures live in this world. That's true, isn't it? All kinds of amazing creature. You're a pretty amazing creature yourself. You know it? You are, but I guess this is more talking about animals. And what is your favorite animal? What kind of animal do you think is really, really interesting? If you ever at some point this year are in my classroom, it won't take you long to find out what my favorite animal is. It's a frog. And there are frogs all over my classroom. I've got stuffed frogs, I've got ceramic frogs and plastic frogs and frog decorations and frogs climbing my walls. And anyway, I love frogs. I just started a collection when I was younger, and usually I have students get me a couple more each year. And so I've just added to the collection. But I think frogs are interesting. They're kind of slimy, aren't they? But I think it's cool how they can stick their tongue out and grab something, and how they can jump. I like rainforest frogs and all the different colors you can find on them. That's just probably my favorite animal. Probably not many people's favorite animal is frog, but I like them. What about you? There's all kinds of amazing creatures that live in this world. And as we think about that, there's amazing creatures that live in the world today. But what about this guy? There were amazing creatures that lived in the world in the past too, weren't there? And we're going to do our focal text. As we start thinking about amazing creatures that live in this world, we're going to read a focal text today. Focal text is this new part of this new reading series, and it just means it gets our brain focused on what we're talking about for writing. And so every 3 weeks, we'll have one extra story that goes with the writing that we'll be doing. And this is that story for these 3 weeks. It's called Apex Predators. In science, we'll learn that there's predators and there's prey. Predators are the ones hunting. The prey is what they are hunting. The world's deadliest hunters, past and present. So this guy is probably a T-Rex from the past. If you're a dinosaur expert, you may know better than me. But there's present day predators too. It's written by Steve Jenkins. So we're going to look at the next few pages, amazing predators from today and amazing predators from the past. Apex Predators by Steve Jenkins. The world's deadliest. There's just another page. Well, my screen's going crazy. There we go. The world's deadliest hunters, past and present. Let's read it. Predators are animals that kill and eat other animals. I don't want to get too close to his mouth there. I think I'll go up here. The first predator lived in the sea about 600 million years ago. It was probably some sort of worm, and it hunted other slow-moving, soft-bodied seafloor creatures. Millions of years passed, and prey animals evolved new and better ways of not getting eaten. Some grew hard shells or armored skin. Others got larger, faster, more difficult to spot. To survive, predators had to keep up. Their bodies got stronger. Their senses grew keener. Their weapons, teeth, claws, beaks, and poison became deadlier. Many predators risked becoming prey themselves, the victims of bigger or stronger animals. But in every habitat, past and present, there have been a few apex predators, creatures too tough, too big, or too well armed to be hunted by other animals. This book is about these killers, the apex predators of their time and place. So everything in this book would be something that nobody else in its habitat would dare try to hunt it because it would eat them. So we can look how our pages are set up, the graphic features, the text features. On this page, we've got a modern day predator compared to a extinct predator. So let's look at this modern day predator. You like tigers? I think they're pretty. Top predators of today. The Siberian tiger is an apex predator of the Asian forest. It's so big and so strong that no other animal dares attack it. and of yesterday. Many of the most terrifying animal killers pursued their prey thousands or millions of years ago. Tyrannosaurus rex, one of the top predators of all time, died out 66 million years ago. Look at their size compared to a human. The Siberian tiger stalks a deer, water buffalo, or other large grazing animal. With a sudden charge, it knocks its victim to the ground and kills it with a bite to the throat. It's about 8 feet long. Look how big it is compared to a man. T-Rex, this fierce dinosaur, could bite off 500 pounds of flesh with one snap of its jaw. Yikes. It's about 40 feet long. So it's about 5 times as long as a tiger. Look at it compared to a man. If I was that little man, I'd run away, wouldn't you? Here's 2 modern-day predators. An island monster. The Komodo dragon is the world's largest lizard. Sometimes it is a scavenger, feeding on dead animals. At other times, it's a deadly predator, lying in wait and then leaping on a deer, goat, or water buffalo. It will kill and eat other Komodo dragons, and it occasionally attacks humans. So it's 10 feet long, longer than a tiger. These huge reptiles live on a few islands in the southwest Pacific Ocean. They have razor-sharp teeth, powerful claws, and venomous saliva. Ugh. Many of today's apex predators, such as the Komodo dragon and the great white shark, are familiar. Other modern-day killers are less well-known because they're rare or live in remote areas of the world. Let's read about Jaws right here. The great white shark cruises the coastal waters of the world's oceans, preying on seals, fish, turtles, birds, humans, and even whales. And the great white's about 20 feet long. This shark is one of the largest and deadliest predators in the world. Its speed, keen senses, and powerful jaws lined with thousands of teeth make it an almost perfect killing machine. I have to admit, I think about these guys when I get out in the ocean water, don't you? I'm scared of them just a little bit. All right, 2 more modern-day predators. Here is strength in numbers. Hunting in packs of as many as 30 animals, African wild dogs patiently pursue an antelope, wildebeest, or zebra until their prey drops from exhaustion. Let's see what it says down below. These dogs share their habitat with bigger and stronger hunters, including lions and leopards. Nevertheless, they are some of the most successful predators on Earth, with 9 out of 10 hunts ending in a kill. And that means they usually get what they're going after. What about these guys? Have you ever heard of an electric eel? It's about 8 feet long. The electric eel lurks in the rivers and streams of tropical South America. It zaps fish, amphibians, and other small animals with its powerful electric charge. And then it gulps them down while they're stunned and helpless. That's scary, isn't it? They could shock us too. I saw a special on Animal Planet about electric eels. This fish also uses electricity to defend itself. Any animal that attacks it risks getting jolted by a shock strong enough to stun a horse or kill a human. That's how much electricity that eel can generate. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? And scary. Here's some more modern day predators. An agile hunter. The fossa is found only on the island of Madagascar. Ever seen that movie? It's an excellent climber, and it stalks its prey. Lemurs, wild pigs, birds, reptiles, small mammals in the treetops and on the ground. It's only about 30 inches long. It's pretty small, maybe about as big as your cat. The fossa looks like a cat, but it is more closely related to a mongoose. He looks like he's got some pretty sharp claws, doesn't he? I wonder if his tail's like a monkey, if he can swing from it. It didn't tell us that. Oh, mind the barb. The giant freshwater ray is one of the world's largest freshwater fish. It sucks clams and crayfish from the muddy river bottoms of Southeast Asia, where it earns its apex status by being the biggest predator in its habitat. The ray locates its prey by detecting the faint electric field that all living creatures produce. At the base of its tail is a sharp, venomous barb used for defense. Did you know they were this big? Excuse me. 8 my goodness, 8 feet across. Look how big that thing is compared to a human. It's bigger than a human. It's the giant freshwater ray. When I was in Florida with my friend one time, we went fishing on a canal in Florida, and something big caught my line, and it pulled and pulled. I thought it was going to pull me into the water. I thought I caught a shark or something, but it was a pretty big stingray, and I was kind of scared to get it off the hook, but I finally did with some big long gloves. They're pretty powerful, and that one's bigger than a human. I don't think I could have caught it with a fishing pole. Speedy bear. This one's extinct. Both of these are. The speedy bear. Yikes. The extinct giant short-faced bear was a huge North American predator. It could probably run faster than any other animal its size, past or present. With its long legs, it chased down horses, and deer, and devoured them. How big is it? Oh my goodness, look how tall that bear is. 12 feet tall. If you've ever been over to the Gray Fossil Site in Gray, Tennessee, and the Hands-On Museum there, they have one of these that's life-size. It's huge. The giant short-faced bear may have been hunted to extinction by our ancestors. It disappeared around the time that the first humans arrived in the Americas. Let's read this little box here. Few modern carnivores could compete with the size, power, and killing ability of many extinct hunters, the apex predators of the past. What's this guy right here? He looks like a mad peacock or something, a two-legged terror. This flightless terror bird, that's its name? Terror bird? It's flightless, it means it couldn't fly, was a fast runner that hunted small animals, probably killing them with blows of its huge beak. It may have also fed on the bodies of dead animals. I want to see how big it was. Oh my gosh. Look how big it was compared to a human. I guess he could eat us too. For millions of years, these birds were dominant predators in South America. The largest of them weighed as much as a present-day lion or tiger. I've never even heard of that thing right there, but it sure would be a terror bird, wouldn't it? Here's 2 more extinct animals. Fangs in a pouch. The marsupial saber-tooth lived in South America. It was probably an ambush hunter, leaping on a deer or other grazing animal and stabbing it to death with its curved canine teeth. Oh my goodness, look at those sharp teeth. Let me read this down here and I'll tell you a cool, true story. The marsupial saber-tooth looked like a saber-tooth tiger, but it was more closely related to a kangaroo. That thing doesn't look like a kangaroo to me. Like modern-day marsupials, female saber-tooths raise their babies in a pouch. I think that's what marsupial means. Oh, it's pretty small, isn't it? It's only 4 feet rather, about the size of a dog, it looks like. I still wouldn't want to mess with those teeth, would you? If you've ever been over to a place near Sevierville called Forbidden Caverns, it's a cave you can go in and go down underground and walk through. Inside there, in the entrance, they have a saber-toothed tiger skull. And it's pretty amazing to think that there were saber-toothed tigers in Tennessee, but there were at one time. They found the skull down inside the cave. It's not too far away, and I'm sure it's open. Forbidden Caverns. You should go there and go down into that cave. It's nice and cool in there, too. Here's a bird of some kind. Big bird. The giant teratorn was the largest bird to ever fly. It hunted small animals, mammals, reptiles, and other birds by swooping down, grabbing them, and swallowing them whole. Yeah, I would say if it was a bird that big, 23 feet across, look at the man. Can you imagine seeing a bird like that? That would be very scary. This enormous bird lived in South America. It was too heavy to take flight simply by flapping its wings, so it probably launched itself into the air from a cliff or a tree. A killer pig. Didon, hunted large grazing animals, dispatching them with its tusks and powerful jaws. This North American mammal was an omnivore, occasionally feeding on plants or scavenging the kills of other predators. Scientists gave Daedon the nickname Terrible Pig, but it was actually an ancestor of modern hippos and whales. And it lived in North America. It was pretty big, wasn't it? Looks about as big as a horse to me. I wouldn't want to see him in the wild. A long time he's not around anymore. He kind of makes me think, when you think killer pig, of like wild boars that live around here now. They've got tusks, long teeth like that too. That guy doesn't look so bad. We'll read about him in a minute. Monster snake. As far as we know, Titanoboa was the largest snake that's ever lived. It spent much of its time in the water, where it preyed on crocodiles and fish. Yeah, if that's a man and that's how big the snake is, I'd say he can eat whatever he wants. Titanoboa lived in the tropical forest of what's now South America. It was longer than a school bus and weighed more than 1 ton. That's 2,000 pounds. Wow. And this guy over here, a record for animal flight. Wow, I don't know if I can say this name. Hatzegopteryx. Hatzegopteryx was a flying reptile, possibly the largest flying animal of all time. Its skull was 10 feet long, and it stood as tall as a giraffe. Well, I wasn't expecting that. It ate small animals, including mammals, fish, and it ate dinosaurs. Oh, my goodness. Look at it compared to a human. Hatzegopteryx probably hunted like a present-day stork, stalking its prey on foot, spearing it with his long beak, and then swallowing it whole. I think I'm going to have nightmares after this story. Sea monster? What? I thought that was just fake. During the age of the dinosaurs, the seas were ruled by mosasaurs, enormous predatory reptiles. One of the largest was Tylosaurus. Its formidable jaws were 10 feet long, and it ate just about everything it wanted to, including other marine reptiles, fish, and dinosaurs that ventured into the water. About 50 feet long. Mosasaurs, such as Tylosaurus, were the dominant predators in the ocean for 20 million years, but they died out with the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. That makes me think of, have you seen, is it Jurassic Park 4, I think? Jurassic World, maybe is what it's called. Anyway, and those two brothers, and they're at the water park, and this giant thing that looks like this jumps up out of the water. Have you seen that? And it was scary. That looks like what that might have been in the movie. A swimming dinosaur? Tyrannosaurus rex may be more famous, but Spinosaurus is the largest predatory dinosaur yet discovered. It was a good swimmer, and it hunted fish and other marine animals. He's pretty big compared to a human, isn't he? 50 feet long. He just looks like a monster. The cell on Spinosaurus's back might have been used for signaling a mate or regulating its body temperature. What's this one? Deadly claw. Raptors were agile, intelligent predators. The smallest of these dinosaurs was the size of a chicken. Utah raptor was one of the largest, reaching 20 feet, 6 meters in length. Utah raptors may have hunted in packs, preying on plant-eating dinosaurs. A pack of these killers working together could have taken down dinosaurs much larger than themselves. There's the size compared to a human. Looks like the raptors on Jurassic World, doesn't it? Utah raptor had big claws, I'd say so, and sharp teeth, but his main weapon was a curved killing claw, more than 9 inches long. Whew. Boy, there's a lot of them in this book. 2 more extinct ones. Ancient amphibian, Mastodontosaurus, an ancient relative of today's salamander, was a predatory amphibian. It could walk on land, but it probably spent much of its time in the water, where it preyed on fish and smaller amphibians. It was 20 feet long. For millions of years before the dinosaurs took over, huge amphibians such as Mastodontosaurus were the apex predators on land. Look at those teeth. I think of little salamanders that are in the water. I wouldn't care to hold them, but I wouldn't hold that guy. I don't think I could I? It looked like a dinosaur, and Dimetrodon is often mistaken for one, but it lived 40 million years before the dinosaurs, and it was more closely related to mammals. It was a fearsome predator, probably the top carnivore of its time. It ate fish, amphibians, and other animals. Dimetrodon's cell probably helped it control its body temperature. It might also have been used to signal and attract a mate. It's a funny looking animal, isn't it? Armor-plated fish, some more extinct animals. Dunkleosteus was an armor-plated fish that could have preyed on any sea creature of its time. I want to see how big it was. Oh my, huge, 33 feet. 375 million years ago, small animals had just begun to colonize the land. In the seas, however, predators had reached an impressive size. Dunkleosteus was one of the largest and fiercest of these carnivores. This guy looks like a lobster to me. He's obviously a lot bigger than a lobster. Seafloor killer. The sea scorpion was among the largest animals alive 40 million years ago. It hunted smaller animals on the seafloor. It may have been a scavenger as well. Sea scorpions were some of the first arthropods, a group of animals that includes insects, spiders, scorpions, crabs, and lobsters. Out of the water. Plants were among the first living things to leave the sea and live on land. They were followed by mites and other tiny animals that fed on the plants. Once plant-eating animals had colonized the land, predators followed. One of these early hunters was Trigonotarbid. Trigonotarbid, an animal similar to modern spiders. How big was he? Oh, it wasn't too big. I was getting worried about giant spiders. When Trigonotarbid arrived on the scene, it didn't have much competition from other predators, so it didn't have to be large to be an apex predator. What in the world is that? Shrimp? Strange shrimp. I'm having a hard time with these names. When Anomalocaris was alive some 500 million years ago, animals lived only in the sea. None had made the move to land. Anomalocaris was perhaps the largest animal and the top predator of its time. It hunted and ate smaller ocean-dwelling creatures. There it is compared to a human. I like shrimp. I wonder if he tasted like shrimp. Anomalocaris was named strange shrimp because scientists at first thought that fossils of the creature's mouth parts were individual shrimp-like animals, not pieces of a larger animal. Okay. Apex predator face-off on land. This book describes a few creatures at the top of their food chains. Some are living today while others are gone. We'll never see a fight between modern apex predators and one that is extinct. But it's interesting to imagine what might happen if a predator from the present, could face off with one from the distant past. So let's see. How would a Siberian tiger fare in a fight with Utahraptor, a top predator of 125 million years ago? The tiger is quick and powerful. Its claws and teeth are deadly weapons. But the dinosaur is also fast, and it weighs twice as much as the tiger. The big cat is probably smarter, and it might be able to outmaneuver the raptor, leap on its back, and bite its neck. But if the Utahraptor can get in a slash with one of its deadly killing claws, the fight would probably be over. Yikes. A matchup between a tiger and a Spinosaurus, pictured here at the same scale, will not even be close. This dinosaur, the largest land predator of all time, could easily bite the big cat in half. Gross. See, we've got some in the water. What about a battle between two ocean-dwelling carnivores? What would happen if a great white shark faced Dunkleosteus, an armored fish that ruled the seas 400 million years ago? A great white can be more than 20 feet long, with one of the most forceful bites of any living animal. Dunkleosteus is bigger, however, reaching 33 feet in length. It also has a powerful set of jaws. The shark is much quicker than the heavily armored prehistoric fish, but that armor gives Dunkleosteus what could be an overwhelming advantage. The shark can dodge and attack more easily than its opponent, but its teeth, made to tear the soft flesh of seals and fish, will have a hard time biting through the armored skin of its opponent. One bite from the ancient fish's bony jaw could be fatal for the shark. There isn't much point imagining a fight between Tylosaurus and a great white shark. This huge marine reptile could kill anything living in the ocean today. The deadliest predator. There is one apex predator, the most deadly and efficient predator that has ever lived, that has not been described in this book. This predator, of course, is us. Humans do not have deadly fangs or claws. Compared to a tiger or shark, we're slow and weak, but we've made up for it with our big brains, our clever hands, and our ability to cooperate. We've invented weapons more powerful than any of those creatures, and over the centuries, we've killed off many of the large predators that threatened our lives or competed with us for food. Wow, that was quite a long story, wasn't it? Lots of interesting animals. Did you see one that maybe became your new favorite animal? One that you never had heard of before? One that you maybe had heard of, but you didn't know much about? Some interesting animals through here. So I want you to be thinking, what kind of animal is your favorite? And what animal would you like to write an informational text about? You're going to tell, that's what your writing is going to be for the next 3 weeks. You don't have to get started today. We're not going to do it for a couple weeks, but I want you to be thinking about what animal you want to do some research on and write about. Okay, you only have one assignment for today. Go to the next slide and watch a little music video on complete sentences and what a sentence fragment is. Then you'll have a very short assignment since the lesson was so long today. We'll see you later.